Hello, we are going to talk a little color theory today. What is color? How do we see different colors, and how do our artists choose what colors to use? You want to be able to use the color wheel of a tool. We want to mix different hues or different colors using only the primary colors. And we'll talk about color schemes and mixing different values or lights and darks. First thing is color matters. It's important to your work, so the colors you choose matters. This painting would have a completely different feeling if it was painted blue, red, yellow, purple, any other color but orange, but the artist chose orange to create a certain mood. Now, how do we see color? We see color because light travels in wavelengths, and each wavelength is a different color. White light contains all wavelengths of light. What happens is white light hits an object, and the blue object absorbs everything except the blue wavelengths of light. So those bounce off, they hit your eye, and your brain says blue. This white background is white because what is happening? What is being reflected in the background? All of the wavelengths of light. We see black over here because nothing is being reflected. All wavelengths of light are absorbed. So here is your color wheel. Now each color has tints and shades. Our three primary colors, yellow, red, and blue. The important thing about them is you can mix every other color through the primary colors. So you do not need any more than red, yellow, and blue to mix the rest of the color wheel. So our primary colors, red creates, or all colors create a feeling. Red is associated with power, energy, passion, aggression, danger, intensity. Blue, peace, harmony, trust, sadness. Yellow, joy, optimism, happy, sunshine. Also dishonesty, cowardice. So colors can have a lot of different meaning. Our secondary colors. What's the feeling we get from orange here? It's just so vibrant, warm, energetic, passionate. Green is associated with nature, health, renewal. Also jealousy, misfortune, envy. Purple, royalty, nobility, wisdom, enlightenment, mystery. So, this is our color wheel. Each color is called a hue. So orange, and yellow are all hues. If I start with orange and I add a little yellow, I am changing the hue. The color wheel is a tool, not just an exercise that art teachers make you do. It actually shows us how colors relate to each other. And one of our goals here is to use the color wheel as a tool. Eventually, you'll get so good at it that you won't have to actually look at a color wheel to understand how it works. Now we also use lights and darks or values with color. You make a color lighter by adding a tint, and you make it darker by adding either black or the complementary color. That's called a shade. So you can mix a tint or a shade. I really like this painting. And how does artists choose what colors to use? One way they do that is considering color schemes. Now, if you're going to paint something realistic, right, the color choices are simple, right? You choose to paint what is in front of you to replicate the real world. But very often, artists are painting abstract or non-objective, and we change the colors and we have fun with them and we use them to express ourselves. Now, when I look at this painting, you may or may not like it, that's up to you, but to me it's very chaotic. It's not that nice to look at. To me the colors seem random. Like I don't know where to go with this. And compare that to this painting. I would say this artist has put a lot more thought into their color scheme. The the blues and purples work well together, and then there's that yellow-orange, which is a nice accent. The first color scheme we're going to talk about is a monochromatic color scheme. So one color and tints or shades of that color. So you can get a lot out of one color. Now this student chose to use a monochromatic color scheme, and I think it was an excellent decision because this composition is very busy, chaotic, energetic. There's a lot to it. Using that monochromatic color scheme brings it all together, right? It creates a harmony. If you can imagine this with 5 or 6 or 7 different colors, I think it would just be chaos. Another color scheme is analogous. Analogous colors are next to each other on the color wheel, and they have one color in common. So red-violet, red, and red-orange. They're going to look good together. Again, kind of create a harmony, but there is some variation there, right? So we have a little more change, a little more contrast when we're painting. So here we have yellows, yellow-greens into greens, right? We have this nice sense of harmony. Reds, oranges, yellows. They're all working together. And you could have 3 colors, 4 colors, 5 colors, depending how much variation you want in an analogous color scheme. Here's an example. Our last color scheme is complementary, so colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel. The thing about complementary colors is they make each other stand out. They make each other more intense when they're next to each other. Of course, we can use tints and shades of each of those colors. So red and green, yellow, purple, blue, and orange are complementary colors. So they make each other more intense, but if you mix them, they dull each other. So blue and orange are complementary colors. Purple and yellow, I think this is a great use of complementary colors. This makes this composition very intense, doesn't it? Blue and orange. So you are going to create a color scheme painting. You can paint whatever you like. You can do a simple design that is just fine. You just have to choose a color scheme. Mix at least 7 different tints and shades. This is a great way to learn to mix colors and to mix tints and shades. On the back of your paper, write the color scheme that you are going to use. You can paint whatever you want. You can have fun with this. So, if you are using acrylic paints, and I don't know if you are, remember that be careful with acrylics, right? They will stain. Roll up your sleeves. Put some paper or something on the table. Make sure you have water nearby. Don't mix water with the paints, but use it to clean your brush. So choose your color scheme, write it on the back, sketch it out, and paint. Make sure you set up nicely, and you have to have something to paint on. In this case, I took a plate and put wax paper on top, because when acrylics dry, they dry permanently. So you can plan out your painting, and in the next video, I will show you how to mix acrylics and paint a nice color scheme painting.